When people first arrive in Adelaide and step into the city centre, one of the most common reactions is surprise. Not because the city is empty, and not because there is nothing happening, but because it feels different from what many people expect from an Australian capital city. There is activity here. People are walking, shopping, going to work. But the overall feeling is unusual. It doesn't match the mental image many people have of a capital city. So what exactly surprises people about Adelaide CBD? The first surprise is the scale. Adelaide is the capital of South Australia, with a metropolitan population of around 1.4 million people. But when you walk through the CBD, it often feels much smaller than that number suggests. You can cross the main city centre in a relatively short amount of time. The distance between key streets is not large, and many people expect a capital city to feel more extensive, more dense, and more overwhelming. Instead, Adelaide feels compact, not in a crowded way, but in a contained way. The second thing that surprises many visitors is how open the city feels. Even in the busiest parts of the CBD, there's still a strong sense of space. Wide streets, visible skylines, gaps between buildings, and areas where your sight can extend far into the distance. This is very different from cities where tall buildings create a sense of vertical pressure. In Adelaide, the city feels more horizontal than vertical, and that changes how movement feels as you walk through it. Another noticeable difference is the pace. The CBD is active but not rushed. People move with purpose but without urgency. You don't often feel the constant pressure of fast-moving crowds or dense foot traffic. Instead, the movement is more distributed. People enter and leave spaces at different times rather than all at once. This creates a rhythm that feels slower and more relaxed compared to many larger global cities. Part of this feeling comes from how the city is structured. Adelaide was planned from the beginning using a grid system surrounded by parklands. This design creates clear boundaries between the city center and surrounding nature. Unlike cities that grew organically over centuries into dense urban cores, Adelaide developed with more intentional spacing. The result is a CBD that feels organized and readable. You don't feel lost in layers of streets or vertical complexity. The city is easier to understand visually and spatially. But perhaps the most important surprise is not physical, but functional. In many global cities, the CBD is the dominant center of activity. Work, entertainment, transport, and social life are heavily concentrated in one area. In Adelaide, that is not the case. A large portion of daily life happens outside the city center. Suburban areas play a much larger role in housing, shopping, and lifestyle, so the CBD is not overloaded with all functions at once. It operates more as one part of a distributed system, and that reduces intensity. This is where expectation becomes important. Many people arrive expecting a capital city to feel like Sydney or Melbourne. Busy streets, dense architecture, constant movement. But Adelaide challenges that expectation. It is still a capital city, but it does not behave like a high-intensity global center. Instead, it presents a different model of urban life, one that prioritizes space over density and balance over intensity. So what surprises people about Adelaide's CBD is not one single thing. It is the combination of scale, space, pace, structure, and lifestyle. Together, they create a city center that feels different from what many people expect. Not better or worse, just different.